And we're live. Hey everyone, good evening. Hope you're all having a great day. And welcome to another office hours for the FastStore beta. I'm Victor, and I'm a software engineer here at VTEX, and I'm working at the FastStore core team. And well, I'll be your host today, right? So we have a lot of interesting things to go over today. So let's get started with our first section. And this is the announcements. Okay, so this is where we bring you all of the latest news and what we've been working on and what has recently been released. And to kick things off, here we have the release notes, and Mari is gonna talk about that for us. Mari,
Hi, Victor. Hi, everyone.
hey.
And everyone, before we get into the FastStore release notes of January, I just want to make a quick announcement about the WebOps build time because you have noticed the WebOps pipelines were taking longer to execute. So this would, for example, with high loads, the workflows that you should take from 2 to 10 minutes, then started to spend between 20 to 50 minutes. And that it was because the increased number of users using the WebOps platform. And these directly damage the CMS publication, so would like take longer to do the CMS publication. So our team just take a look and really work hard to go back to the what was before. So now our pipelines runtime is now back to 2 to 10 minutes range, and of course depending of the workload that you're working on and also the size of of your store. So it was just a quick announcement for WebOps users. And now we can go directly to our release notes of January. And you're gonna see that we have many news for these release notes, but you can take your time. It's just really, really quick to read it. So today I'm gonna bring some highlights of this January release notes. So first of all, let's start with the FastStore UI. For the FastStore UI, we have 4 new components. As you can see, we have the incentive component that is you can display a trust badge for your store's website. Also, we have the link component. In this link component can display a hyperlink as any HTML tag, and also you can use as a div. And we have the cart component, so you can summarize and display like summarized information about your product, for example price, or if it has a discount, and maybe a button to add to cart for this product. And also the quantity selector, that's really good for shoppers like to put more of your products or your store products, or just take off some of them. And then we can go straight to the FastStore SDK because we have some news about the analytics. So if we take a look now, we have added item generics to the analytics event. So with this property, users can control over a variety of types rather than a single one. So this type of property allows user to add extra properties inside an item as well. And for our FastStore API, so our VTEX platform, we have added the sales channel to the product query, and we also have some bug fixes. But let's just take a look of this one. Is that now the breadcrumb list no longer return empty? Now the catalog data fills the breadcrumb information. And for the VTEX Headless CMS, here we have the Gatsby plugin CMS now receives webhook body parameters and fetch the values on the CMS API, so it can return a preview on the WebOps. And for one of our sections, documentation, we have many news and updates of our documentation that Carol soon will explain a little bit more of them. But a new thing for us here is the new Search SDK documentation. So now we can learn how to increase product discoverability by implementing a faceted search in your store as well. And something new that we just added to our store is that now you can give feedbacks to some of our pages here. So for example, let's go to the tutorials page. Here's the getting started. And if you go in the top, actually in the below, the bottom below of the page, you're gonna see this question: was this page helpful? So you can click yes, thumbs up, or no, thumbs down, and then you can add your feedback and submit. And that is really good, everyone, because we love feedback. Feedback is great, so we can improve our work and have a better platform for all of us. So that's it for me for the release notes. Thank you.
That's awesome. Thanks, Mari.
No
And
worries.
please, everyone, remember to actually give feedback, right? So this is available on every page, right?
Yes, every page. Yes, every page.
Awesome. So don't forget it.
Yes, please.
And okay, great. Thanks, Mari.
Bye bye.
Bye. Okay, so moving on to the next session, to the next announcement, we have documentation updates. It's quite a lot, and Carol is here to tell us about it.
So, hi everyone. I'm here today to talk to you about some of our documentation updates. So, if you access faststore.dev and scroll down the page, you see a list of all documentation updates in the last month. And as you can see, we had 9 updates in the last month. And more specifically, since our last office hours, we have added a few docs regarding the integration of a FastStore project with the VTEX platform. So now we have some guides on temporary solutions that allows you to integrate the VTEX platform with your FastStore project with the VTEX platform using a subdomain. So you can now check our guides on temporary solutions that allows you to integrate the VTEX login, check out my account, and other placed pages with your FastStore website. And that's all for today. I just like to remember you that your feedback and suggestions are more than welcome.
Awesome. That's great. Thanks, Carol. Okay, awesome. So that's what we have as news for you today. And just would like to extend just would like to remember to remind all of you that you can keep up with these updates maybe a bit faster than they get to you here in the office hours. Well, we do this every week, so uh, but you can probably find out about this even faster if you keep an eye out on the faststore.dev/releases. Okay, this is where we keep the latest releases and all of the release notes, and everything that we show here in the announcements is usually there, and you might get lucky and find it there first. So just a reminder. Okay, so moving on, we have our next section, which is Ask the Community. And well, this section, as the name suggests, is all about VTEX Community. Okay, so every week we bring you a few questions that you left for us there, and we answer them here, going a bit more in depth on the like going beyond the answers that we already gave you there. And to start things off, we have Mateus from the CMS team. Um, and he's gonna answer a question from Stagnofran.
Oh, hello everyone. Hello, Vitor. The question was something went wrong when trying to publish on the CMS. And to answer this question and to make it clear, when you click to publish on the CMS, we need to trigger the build on WebOps. And to do this, we need an integration between the CMS and the GitHub. Nowadays, there are 2 ways to do that. And the first one is directly on GitHub. And the second and new way is through release. So this account with the problem was configured to use the first way. And to solve this build, we needed to set the token on GitHub and set some permissions on GitHub on the GitHub repository. So it's an internal configuration, and I'm sorry about that. And I'm sorry about that. That this is not completely on the on the documentation, but we hope to update that information and update all the clients to use the release as soon as possible. So the question was answered that, and it solved the problem for him.
Awesome. That's great. Thanks, Matheus, and thanks for coming and explaining your answers there.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks. Okay, awesome. So moving on, the next one is, oh, it's George. Hey, George.
Hey, how's it going? Nice to be here, Vitor. Or Mirandinha, as we would call him here in Brazil. All right, so the question I got this week was how to fetch data from MasterData using GraphQL mutations. So Jorge Bermudez, thanks for your question. He asked, I'd like to create documents in MasterData using fetch, like this video. I'll show that video soon. And it's good, but I'm searching how it's possible to create documents with GraphQL mutations. Did not find any information about that. So let's see. I'm going to remove you from the screen so I can show more of mine. I'll bring you back soon. Yeah, so how to fetch, and let's see what this video is. Yeah, so it's the other office hours, so we're talking about Meta. Okay, so he wanted to do some fetching, and Bruno Moreira made a demo in the past edition about fetching, but he wanted mutations. And what I told him was, Jorge, in general, when you're talking about Gatsby, it's a one-way street, okay? Usually, Gatsby uses GraphQL just to build its own data layer, right? So when you're doing a build of a statically generated site, or mostly statically generated site, you first source the data using several APIs, and then it's just going to be available in this GraphQL layer provided by Gatsby. So usually that's not something that will be updated during the build. So usually you wouldn't be doing any mutations during build. What I feel like he probably wanted to do is have something like live that could mutate, like maybe I want to add a review to a product, and then I want to save that in MasterData. How do I do that? So there are a few ways you can do that. You could do Apollo on the client-side code. So some of your code can actually be running on the browser. It doesn't have to be statically generated. And I give him a link. I also have this other link about GraphQL mutations, or like things that people were exploring for mutations. This is the context, like people were asking on the Gatsby side of things. So when you're doing, when you're building stores with VTEX FastStore, keep in mind that a lot of what we're doing is leveraging technologies that are in the web. So a lot of the things that you might be having questions about are probably Gatsby questions or Next.js questions when we finish releasing that version of FastStore. But yeah, there's one thing that I mentioned is that, if you're used to building services in VTEX.io, you could do that to provide that GraphQL server, so you can actually interact with MasterData through that layer. So in VTEX.io, you can set up any service to provide any API endpoint for GraphQL, and so you can do both things, right? You can have your store, and then you can fetch data using a GraphQL layer you set up, not on your Gatsby project necessarily, but possibly outside, or using any kind of service on the web. And Sunday from Corbis actually went a step further. He mentioned Gatsby API Lambda, so that's something a little bit more advanced. That's available, I think, in Gatsby Cloud. But basically, what you can do is run code on their edge, if I'm not mistaken. That means that you could have your resolvers running there, and that's actually similar to what we're doing with WebOps on our own GraphQL layer. We're able to set up that server there on our infrastructure, and that's how we're able to keep the data close to your front end. So that's about it. If that answered your question, please let us know. If not, let's keep discussion going, right? Miranda, back to you.
That's great. Thanks, George. Uh,
Okay, I think I
okay.
lost. There you go. Sorry,
Oh, yeah.
with the slides. I'll be back to the background.
No problem. Thanks. Okay, awesome. So the next question is about PDP pages, and Jimenez is here to tell us about that. Hey.
Hi, Miranda. Hi, guys. So the question was about like if I go into the into my account, into the my account's admin, right? And I add a new product, will it appear on my final store? And the answer for this currently is no. And why is that? It's because the way that Jamstack works is that well, basically, we take a snapshot of the whole website, right? And so, since we're taking a snapshot of the whole site, the catalog will remain the same until we do a new deploy of the whole site. So, how do I deploy a new site? Well, you go to GitHub and do that, and use WebOps to trigger a new build and deploy kind of the whole new site. That's why when you go to the VTEX admin and add a new product, the product won't automatically show up on your store. And this was done by design. And the good aspect of this is that your store doesn't like keep changing when people are editing the admins. It just changes when you actually do a release of your store. So that's the whole idea behind it.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, well, we're trying to prevent you from like leaving your store in a certain way, right? And everything works and everything is as expected, and then all of a sudden something changes and it breaks, right? Without you actually like wanting to change something. Like you need to like actually trigger the deploy, right? So awesome. Okay. Thanks, Jimenez. All right, so moving on, we have another question about the doubts. Doubts about capabilities and possibilities with FastStore, and Layuso is here to answer that.
Hey there, I'm Layuso, Product Manager at FastStore, and I'm here today to respond this question from Rafael Camargo from Avante. Thank you very much, Rafael. So currently these features are not available yet, right? As stated in the base store README, and they are not available natively yet. But you can use them to the APIs. It's just a matter of integrating them into the project. But rest assured, because we plan to add support for most of them. Right now, we're working on a roadmap with the upcoming features by quarter, grouped by quarter. And the roadmap should be available by the end of this month. But I can already tell you that support for visualization and multiple sales channels are our top priority. They should be released pretty soon, in the beginning of the next quarter, probably. I think that's it. Feel free to add more questions there, and we can discuss until it's released. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Layuso. Okay, and now, if I'm not mistaken, we only have one more question, and this is about the all collections query, sometimes failing during build and that sort of stuff. And to help us with that, Ikaru from the FastStore team as well recorded a video, and here it is.
I'm a software engineer here at VTEX, and today I'm going to comment some questions you guys sent out on the community. So the first question is from Sander, and thank you, Sander, for sending your question. And he couldn't build his store because of an error on the GraphQl schema, apparently. When we tried to replicate the issue, we found out like two issues, actually. One related to the page type fetching that I'm going to talk about later, and one about request overflow. So we were making a lot of requests to our endpoints, and that made FastStore API to like top the limits, and it couldn't like open new requests, so it broke, and the build broke consequently. So like we went to fix that, and our idea for fixing that was to paginate the all collections. So previously, before this fix, the collections were all being fetched in one request. So that caused the overflow I talked about. And what we did here was to start to paginate this query so that it didn't cause the error anymore. And it worked, but with a caveat. We found out that through Bruno and Larissa's questions, so thank you guys for sending it, that now the categories were not being returned anymore by that query, and only the brands. And that happened because only the first page of that query was being fetched, because the whole FastStore was configured to only fetch that query once. And now we want to fetch multiple times, one per page. So we went out and developed a fix for that. That's currently on review. When you're seeing this is probably merged, but this is like on review now. And what we did here was to like wrap up this pagination. So we went on the all collections query and like added proper values to has next page and has previous page, indicating if the query has a next page or not. So we could fetch them all. And we did that, but when we did that, we found out another problem related to the page type endpoint. So the page type endpoint, we use that for us to like, given a path, I want to identify if that's a brand, if that's a category, if that's a subcategory. So we fetch that for each collection. And sometimes we fetch a path that isn't any of those options. So it is a not found. And we were not treating those cases. So we returned no name, and that's what caused Sander here to receive the null name. And because our GraphQL schema expects the name to not be null, the build broke. So what we did here was to filter those null values, and now it started working again. But when we did that, we found out another problem. That was we're still making too many requests to the page type loader, and it didn't like overflow. It didn't top the limits from FastStore API, but it did top the limits from that endpoint on the catalog service. So we wanted to like limit the amount of concurrent requests we were making to that endpoint. So we did it, and after doing that, we were able to like achieve the goal. That was the stars building. You can see your brands and categories, and you're not getting timeouts anymore. So I want to thank you all three for sending the questions. It was very important to us to like improve our product and give you guys a better experience. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Awesome. That's great. And I'm hearing there is a comment from Ikaru in the chat, right? Hi, me from the future. It is not merged yet, but we're working on it. Okay, so there you go. There we go. We have an update for Ikaru, and thanks for watching, Ikaru. Awesome, great. I think we have a few questions from the chat also. Oh yeah, but first, okay, I can remind you. Awesome. Okay, so first let me remind you all that keep asking things in VTEX community, okay? And don't forget to add the office hours tag to your question as soon as you create it in VTEX community so that we can find it more easily. And that's how we because every week we go through the questions and then pick some of them to bring here, okay? So just make sure that you tag your questions with the office hours tag if you want us to pick it up and bring it here, okay? Awesome. And now moving on to the questions from the chat. There are quite a few, right? Okay, so the first one from Ruben. Will the VTEX Storybook have most of the components VTEX IO already has? If that's so, when would the most common ones be available for use? I think Lailson is coming back to answer that, right? Lailson?
Yeah, that's with
awesome.
Me. So, Ruben, we actually are reimagining the components for the FastStore, so we don't guarantee the correspondence, right? That we're going to have all the same components. We promise to have all components relevant for stores. So it should be a the intersection, the overlap should be very, very big. It will be available in the roadmap I just mentioned, so stay tuned, and you see there, I will list the components we plan to release soon in 2022.
Awesome.
And we hope you like it.
Yeah, but yeah, we had a lot of components in store framework previously, so like probably not all of them, right? It's gonna be more curated.
Which ones make sense to port and which are relevant. So yeah, and we'll come up with new components too. So we're excited.
Awesome, great. Okay, so the next question is from Ruben as well. Is it possible to get more product information from the store product GraphQL query, besides the properties that are already available? Are you gonna chip in also, Leilson, or
yeah, this one is not with me.
Okay, awesome.
I can chip in.
All right.
Maybe Paul Jimenez as well, but Ruben, you definitely can get more product information from the store product GraphQL query. The code is open source. You can provide. You can either add extensions to the GraphQL queries we have, the resolvers we have there, the FastStore monorepo, or you can even do some stuff on your own store repo. I think we had a demo about that, or a question in the previous office hours, right?
Yes, we did. I think the demo was from Emerson. And
Emerson had like contributing to FastStore API. I think it was in Portuguese. I think Brasileiro has a question of like extending the GraphQL schema. Should definitely look it up on VTEX Community. I'll try to find the link and share in the chat with you. But does anyone from the backstage want to add a little bit? Do you want to add here, Jimenez? I just brought you to the stage.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm not sure if I got the question right, but there are two cases in there that you would like to extend. So the first one is my component's not getting a property, but this property is available on the store product type. On this case, you can just add the property on the product fragment. So fragment is a graphical way of like saying, oh, I need this property, or I need that other property. So that the front end only fetches what you really need. So this is the first case, and this is this you can just edit the component of your store. So this is pretty straightforward. And the other one that is not that easy, it's not that straightforward, is I want a data or I want a field that is not on the store product schema, and then you can use what Emerson showed us, that is extending the GraphQL schema. So then you need to extend this GraphQL server, the GraphQL scheme, and then change the fragment of your component. So there are these two cases. I'm not sure which one is the problem.
Yeah, I just shared 2 links there in the chat for the folks watching. There's a VTEX community discussion. There's some documentation about extending the schema. And of course, it's always better to get these answers in VTEX community because we can get all these references and links.
Yeah.
But yeah, we like improvising the live questions. Thanks, Jimenez, for pitching in. And
Thanks.
I'll let you continue as well, Miranda.
Awesome, great. So thanks for all the questions. Like we're really happy when we get this participation from the chat and everything, and for the questions in the text community as well. So thanks. And awesome. So the final section is demo time. But yeah, unfortunately this week we don't have any demo to show you, but we want to invite all of you to come here and bring your own demos, right? Like maybe you were implementing a store and you reached some problem, and then you got around to it with a nice solution that you want to share with everyone. This is the space to do so, right? We don't want to only be bringing our own demos. It's awesome for us if you guys brought your own as well. Okay. And how would you go about doing that? You can fill in the form that you can find at vtex.community.com/office hours beta. Okay, so just go there, fill out the form, and we'll hit you up and set everything up so that we can actually have your demo here in office hours. Okay. Well, that's all. That's all we had this week. Thanks for coming, everyone. Thanks for the participation. And just a quick reminder that next week the event will be in Portuguese. Okay, we're still testing out the alternating between the two languages. Okay, so one week we'll have the event in English, such as today, and then next week the event will be in Portuguese. Okay, and we go. Also, give us your feedback about that. Okay. So, thanks for being here. We'll see you next week, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button below. All right. So, see you next week.